welcome back to Event Advice by CrowdComms. As ever, I'm joined with Matt, our Managing Director here. In this video, we're going to be talking about registration, the best event reg platforms that we're seeing in 2024 and into 2025, and some of the best practice that goes around that. Matt, to start with, I actually need to bring something up with you.
Go on.
We've been viralized. I don't think it actually has gone viral, but you're a rap star now, apparently.
What is viral? What needs to happen to be considered?
Well, that's a good point, because actually I think probably it's a viral style video.
Yeah.
So silly, cut up, cassette boy style, taking the odd word that me and you are saying, putting it to some music, putting alongside a track. If it goes viral, then it's viral.
Do you know what?
If only a few people watch it on socials, then it's not a viral
Do you know
video.
what's really depressing, Will?
Go on.
In these sessions, we've been covering fantastic topics. We've been talking about engaging content, and it's been at times riveting, and yet it's a mashed up video of cock-ups that we make that goes viral. Isn't that a bit depressing?
Yeah.
But it is good.
It is good, and it's a testament to the skill of the people that we've got working here, that they are able to spend quality time putting together videos like that.
Or was it the skill of AI?
No, it was I think it was a manual cut job.
Was it?
Yeah. I think it
Go
was.
and watch it.
Yeah, go and watch it.
Let us know what you think.
If
It'll be the one with loads of views.
Yeah, if you do want to watch it, if you search Event Advice on YouTube Shorts, we'll come up.
Good.
Okay, right, back to the subject.
I've forgotten what the subject was.
Yeah, let's talk about registration.
Let's do it.
Platforms in 2025 and what we've seen in 2024 so far. We are going to start with setting a good first impression in registration.
Okay.
So how do we set the tone?
Same as anything, you need to know who your audience is. So the nature of the audience, is it a corporate audience we're trying to gain the attention of? Is it a festival audience? Because that will dictate the nature of the comms that we send out. It will dictate the customization, the branding, the layout. So I think knowing your audience is going to be the key bit. It's probably a question best set for yourself rather than me. But in terms of branding, customization, what are the things that we should be focusing on?
Well, obviously you need a tool where you can get pretty close to your brand, or you need some skills to get there. But you obviously want to set the tone as the user is landing on the page. They want any good website, and I include registration sites within websites. You need to know you're in the right place when you land on it. If all of a sudden it looks totally unfamiliar to the brand you were expecting, then it's called cognitive load. So you start thinking about, am I in the right place? Should I go back and search again? Is this genuine? So all of those things really matter to event registration.
Well, we see it, don't we? The people get obsessive with that beautiful landing page, and we're really lucky because one of the key bits is being able to achieve something quickly that looks amazing.
Yep.
So that's one of the key bits, but we definitely can do that. But people then don't spend the same care and attention on the email template and the customization of that. Yeah. And you kind of undo all that hard work. We saw it last week when we did a sweep of our projects, and we had about a 40% uptake on registration from an email template. We looked at the email template, it just wasn't good enough.
Yep.
Hadn't had the same. They'd done this beautiful branding and then applied none of it. So the first thing from is continuity of your comms with your software that you're building, your registration platform, your registration form, your ticketing process. So having continuity of the comms that go out, I think, is critical. But we then changed that one template and did secondary comms and got the registration up to 72% just by aligning the quality, aligning the branding, the customization from that form through to the email, through to the registration itself.
So it does genuinely have an impact on the performance of your registration.
Yeah, well, internal comms, marketing comms are going to be as important as anything that we do, aren't they?
Yeah.
The people who get that bit right and get our technology right are the people that have the great success with their registration, great success with their event delivery, and then capture the great data afterwards that they can use to change their event and improve it for years going on.
It's just like that feeling like you're working with a professional outfit. you land on a great, like you said, if you land on a great website, register your details, and you get an email that looks nothing like what you've just come from.
Yeah.
So you've got to, make sure everything is consistent. Tone of voice as well, the language you're using on the form, whether you've got an informal language, that's got to pass through into your email as well. The tone through everything. Set the tone, make sure it's across the board.
I tell you what, I experienced the good and bad of it at the weekend. I was at the golf in Wentworth.
Oh yeah, BMW.
One of our suppliers invited me. It was absolutely amazing.
Fancy.
Anyway, but we had to print off our car parking badge. It was a tiny QR code on a huge piece of A4 with no information about where to go. So we're then like scrolling along, asking people which way we're going, which car park. It was appalling. The ticket was, so it was a table of 10 of us with one ticket. And so he had to like take screenshots of each ticket, send it to us. It wasn't as if you could use one QR code that would signify you had 10 people associated with it. So it was clunky, it was unbranded, and everything about the rest of the event was premium.
Yeah.
And it just felt, it was just that lack of attention let it down.
Well, if you're spending a lot of money to do something like that, you want the experience to be, that customer experience to be seamless, don't you? You want to feel the quality runs through absolutely everything.
Yeah.
You just don't want it to, just don't let it drop in tiny little areas.
It was too easy to get right.
And everyone would have had to do that.
Yeah.
So that.
And then they wonder why there's queues.
Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. So I think we've touched on a couple of bits. Should we touch on the rain?
Well, you can mention it.
I don't know if anyone can hear the rain. We've got biblical amounts of rain happening at the moment while we're recording this. And you might be able to hear it in the background. So I'm just going to put it out there.
It's quite calming, isn't it?
It is. It's like putting one of those, sometimes I'll put the soundtrack of waves on and when I'm going to sleep and things like that. It's a bit like that.
Nice.
Rain on a hot tin roof. Nice. Anyway, right. Let's talk about some key features of registration platforms. We've sort of we've touched on the UX and CX of registration platforms there. Let's talk about different user journeys through registration. That's a key area of best practice, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. So, I mean, you're the UX specialist, so perhaps you're asking I should have been asking the questions for this one. You'd been even better set than myself.
You can bounce it either way.
Let's start with, I know it's a bit trendy to talk about it, but let's talk about accessibility and inclusivity, because that's going to be a key focus of this, isn't it? So it's making sure that a form makes sense, making sure that people can digest the information you're giving them in a format that they're comfortable, making it conversational, so it's got a human nature to it as well.
Yep.
So creating technology that doesn't feel cold, which is not easy to do.
Yep.
And I won't go talking about other different products, but you look at a product like Typeform, it's so human in the way that they ask you for information, that it's got a warmth to it. It's got a human element to it. So I think that kind of accessibility, that conversational nature of technology is really powerful. And it's certainly something that we've tried to do with our technology, both through the website builder from an admin perspective, but also for the end user as well, for the people actually clicking on that form, clicking on that website, that it's got genuine accessibility and inclusivity features considered at every stage.
Yeah, it's making sure there's no barriers to entry, right? You want your registration to be as successful as possible. You don't want them to fall at the first hurdle with language or accessibility, or make sure everything is compliant, and they can use browser functionality if they've got additional needs and things like that. It's just making sure that functionality runs through, and they can just do the same thing as everyone else, right?
Exactly. From an admin perspective, we mentioned it earlier on, it's simplicity, it's ease of use.
Yep.
Setup, it's just got to make sense, hasn't it? It's got to be easy to set up. You've got to enable people like me or people like you. So you could either be a designer who creates fantastic things, or you can be a non-designer who is capable of generating a fantastic product. I think that's really important. That isn't to say that your product won't be better at the end of it than mine. It will be, because you've got that design acumen, but I can get pretty close.
So the content, the key thing is, like you say, what we try and do is to build tools that you don't need to be. If you've got it in your head and you've planned it, and we know that all these event organisers will will have things meticulously planned, potentially outside the software. This is what we see time and time again.
Yeah.
They will design their event to the letter in a spreadsheet
Yeah.
or somewhere outside of the software, and then bring it into the software and want to build it as quickly as possible with what they've got in their mind. And if you can't do, talking about user journeys, it's making sure that those pathways, you can build those quickly. You can check those. Checking's a big thing, right? So once you've done it, if you want a really complicated registration builder, and you've got like your stream one pathway, for example, you want to be able to check the registration that they've got all the right things in the right places in the right order.
We do that better than anyone.
I mean, we do have a nice tool for just checking the user journeys when you've built a registration, because we know how important it was to the people that build these things.
Asking people to keep things simple means keeping it really simple for the person who lands on that form.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that it's not complex in terms of the logic. So having the ability to go, I want to see this form from that person. I want to see this user journey, that pathway, this pathway, and being able to display it at a snapshot of that is going to be really, really helpful. So you are always, I hear you talk about it all the time, you are always thinking about the organizer and the end user, and balancing those two personas as being the critical ones in our kind of journey where we're journeying out the product.
Yep.
It's one of my favorite things that we do in registration, and now, dare I say, in app and across the badge, is that you can see the changes that you make live, not just for an overall project, but for the different pathways, the different personas within that project as well.
Definitely. And like rule number one in form design and registration is just form design. Really, when you boil it down, is making sure that you're not asking people to do things that is unnecessary. So obviously you need fairly complex conditional formatting or logic, if you like, to make sure that you are hiding and showing the right things. So in even a short form for each different type of persona that you're targeting can be complicated if you're making them go past all the things that that is irrelevant to them.
I was going to say, so many forms that I come to when I attend events, 5 of the questions are relevant to me. I've got to go through 25 questions.
Yeah.
Now, when we talk about simplicity for the end user, we're respecting that it's complex because you've got to capture for 5 different personas, but that does not mean that those 5 different personas need to see all the information that's not relevant to them. So it's the ability to tailor it to that person, having them in a group that has visibility, or they have actions that take them one route. It's simplifying that journey, which is the really, really clever bit. And it's the bit that I think we do really well if I was being a bit big-headed.
Let's talk about integrations.
Yep.
The importance of them, the importance of the reliability of them, making sure that they're all set up ahead of time before you launch your registration.
So you look at, I mean, here we're talking about data provenance and the movement of data. So if I'm using normally, well, okay, let's take this back. 3 years ago, we talked about integrations. We'd be talking about integrating event technology systems. Now, what we tend to be talking about when we talk about integrations is a CRM, which is that point of data provenance, that data, and where you're sanitizing your data, you're trying to validate your business decisions. That happens in your CRM, and our technology, which is being used to deliver a content strategy or to facilitate meetings between a partner and a client, needs to feed back, did it happen? Did this meeting take place? Did they attend this event? Did they watch for an hour? Into their CRM, which informs them, and the different sales representatives or whoever it might be in the CRM have access to that information. So we tend to see more integration requirements at a CRM level, and by CRMs we're all going to know them, aren't we? Salesforce, HubSpot, Marketo, Dynamics, are all being the ones that people are really keen on.
Obviously, when you talk about integrations, hand in hand with data security, so you need both to be sitting together, don't you? Really,
it's a given that your CRM will be heavily scrutinized from a data perspective. And therefore, when you're choosing an event technology provider, that becomes potential risk, isn't it?
Yep.
It can become a window of opportunity if you don't choose correctly. You've got this huge data integrity here. Having a seamless integration with another robust product or technology product is the minimum that you have to go with. We're really lucky on that front. We've got Donna in our team. She is an absolute legend.
Nothing gets past her.
Nothing gets past Donna. My favourite meeting of the week is definitely our InfoSec meeting.
Making sure we're
We're
secure.
making sure we're secure. I mean, we can joke, be lighthearted about it now, but we work so hard.
It's important. That doesn't mean it's fun, but but that's because it shouldn't be fun, because it's flipping really important.
Well, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night without a Donna.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, we info security, SOC 2. We're doing more and more with US clients, so that kind of SOC 2 accreditation has become more and more important with onboarding US clients, and across this side of the pond and in Europe, we might consider ourselves more data aware in some ways, which is slightly egotistical. But the SOC 2 accreditation, if anything, was huge, wasn't it?
Well, and they don't just give you the accreditation and leave you to it to fall into old bad habits.
Yeah.
We have a weekly, we joke about having a weekly meeting. We have a very regular weekly meeting we do not miss, to make sure that we are compliant. There's audits coming, that that annual audit comes around really quickly. We have to make sure we've got proved for following the previous year.
Yeah.
We've been working in the right way to make sure our clients secure, data is completely secure. So it is no joke, and they do keep you on your toes, and it's a good thing. It's a really, really good thing.
You're so animated, it almost sounds like you enjoy it.
Well, you mentioned it a minute ago, but Donna also metaphorically tucks me up in bed at night as well, and I sleep better knowing that Donna has done that job.
Yep, 100%.
Okay, good. Let's talk about the importance of support.
Yeah.
I think everyone knows, anyone who's already worked with us knows how we major on support. We are here absolutely 24 hours a day if one of our customers needs us. But when you're building complex reg, and when you're building, well, just simple reg as well, if you want to get really close to your brand, how important is support to people?
I used the example earlier on of looking at an email template, understanding that it hadn't delivered to its objective of getting people onboarded, being able to go in there, being able to make recommendations around the design, being able to make recommendations about the language that you use so we can improve deliverability, enables people to go from a 42 to a 73, 75% kind of adoption rate of registration. That is the difference between an event happening next year or not. Yeah. So it's having the experience of being able to look at something quickly and say, we can do something about this, is absolutely invaluable. And it doesn't matter if you are like this particular client, I'm not going to name who it was, there's one event a year they do. Okay. So we are definitely the experts because we're dealing with 25, 30 similar projects a week that we can learn from. But even the clients that run multiple events per year, we always can look at that data. We can look at, as a committee, things that worked really well, and we can say, okay, well, blimey, that comm strategy, those email templates, that kind of sweeping of information and presentation of it from how they promote it out with a video on day 3, how they've captured those that didn't register and have sent out this separate marketing campaign, how they leverage notifications, whatever it might be. We're constantly able to look at what success is, to be able to advise people. That's our responsibility, isn't it? And it's very selfish. We've talked about this lots of times. If people have success, they get people registered to their event, they generate ticketing revenue, they generate sponsorship revenue off of the event, or they just have better buy-in from an internal event, then they use us again.
Yeah. We know what success looks like, using our software to gain success, because we've done it so often in the past. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Do we see any common challenges that come up when our customers are building reg? I mean, you've touched on a few that we help support with there. Do we see any common challenges over and over again?
You've got a number of different challenges. Let's focus on being too data hungry to start with.
Okay, yeah.
So people they desperately want to know as much as they can possibly know, don't they? And people want to know it up front. It's like, I want to do all this and I want to capture all the information. Now, sometimes you're better off splitting it into two-stage registration.
Yeah.
We've got a number of clients who are focusing on doing that with great success, because you're not overwhelming someone. And or just accepting that perhaps you don't need to capture that.
Yeah.
And it's always getting that balance between wanting information and needing information. And again, that comes down to like looking at the data. But so often it's when people want something so badly, you can say to them, I think you're going to get a much higher adoption if you just keep it to this. When they really want something and they say, I need that information, they will sometimes plow on with it anyway. So I think that's
Well, it worries
constant
me
challenge.
when I hear the term complex reg. It worries me
Well, yeah.
because it's like, what? Why are you trying? Why is it complex? What are you trying to do that's making it complex? Now, if it's you've got lots of different journeys and you're trying to figure out in your head which question should appear when and things like that, that's fine. That's complex reg. But anything more than that, you don't. If you're just asking too much.
You shouldn't be trying to appease multiple people through registration. So when you're doing registration, you shouldn't classify registration as being the thing you need to do to appease a sponsor, or to appease your CEO. Registration is just getting someone to the event.
Yeah.
And then you focus on other strategies to appease those different kind of stakeholders.
Yeah.
If it's sponsors, then you make sure you've got robust meeting booking, and you make sure that you facilitate those meetings. If it's just buy-in from an internal event, then you focus on the delivery of the content. See, the focus should always be the bum on the seat. Where ticketing comes in, it's slightly different. We need to know what type of ticket they're buying. We sometimes want to look at, and the strategy is, okay, well, let's get them to buy a ticket, but what else can we get them to buy?
Yeah.
What else can we get into the basket? That sometimes adds complexity. And that's normally what people say when they talk about complex reg. It's quite often things like congresses and things.
Yeah.
They need to submit an abstract,
Yes.
do my poster, pay for my ticket. I've got 4 other people that I can bring along, but they don't get the same discounted ticket. It's the detailing around ticketing that is often the complex bit.
Excellent. Well, I think we've covered a lot during registration there. Everything from customization to integrations to complex reg and doing it right. So if you've got any questions or anything, leave a comment below. We would love it if you subscribe to the channel. If you want to check out any of the other event advice videos that we've done, have a look at crowdcomms.com/videos. But until next time, we'll see you again.